In this video, we'll be doing some exploration, but before I get into that, I wanted to say that we will not be exploring every single area, as we never really do explore every single area. Some of these areas are very clearly marked for world quests, and not only that, it very much feels like there is a ton of world quests in this area, so I'm going to have to see what I'm going to do about those world quests in general. It's a beautiful area. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, but just so you guys know, and if you're expecting me to go everywhere, some of these areas are very clearly to do a world quest. Now, some of them might not be, and you guys can correct me on that, but for sure, I avoid some areas because they seem like they are very much centered around world quests. One of my favorite things about going to a new region in Genshin is, of course, getting to explore that region. Look at Zilali. Look at Zilali. I adore her. But also, I think that's something that everyone loves. I think we all love getting to see the new locations, see what they have to offer, even like looking at them from a distance here. Like, look at this. It's so freaking awesome looking at this. And I actually love the way in Nod Karai they really used like the space across the water in such a cool way too. I think that like they have been doing a lot more with certain areas, like for example with the summer event recently with Natlan too, they did a good job of that too, where you can have like the same region but it's kind of like separated by a body of water in some way. But anyway, today we're going to be exploring this area here. It's a smaller area, it won't take that long I don't think at all whatsoever. And I'll be answering some of your questions and some of your topics about Genshin. So to start off, and again, I'm sorry that I don't have the actual names of the people, but they're on the screen right now. It says copy Luak play. It has your ats. For some reason, YouTube thought changing it to your ats was the good idea when like everyone chooses their name more meticulously. But they ask, are there any theories about the glitch at the last act? This is a really this has been a point of discussion, I think, for some people 100% when it came to the idea of the glitch at the end of the last act and what could it mean, what is it, and I think like the main theory a lot of people have, I'm getting up another comment here because I don't want to take like any credit for this, by the way, because someone else came up with this as well, which I actually like this theory as well, but the honest to God thing is like I've heard like from patrons and from people talking about this in the comments as well, that like a lot of people feel like it's the Tori, right? A lot of people feel like this is the Tori thing. What the hell? The objects coexist with Kuvaki energy exist in 3 different states. Objects lacking Kuvaki exist in the fallowed state. Those affected by the abyss enter a blighted state. Objects fully infused with Kuvaki will enter a suffused state. When these objects are in fallowed and blighted states, you're unable to obtain Kuvaki from them. Okay. Interesting. I didn't think we were getting a tutorial.
From Yai Publishing House.
What? Cotton spring flowers?
Normal, right?
Is this a whole new thing? Possibly? Actually, one thing I will say is before we go any further, when you enter this area here like this, I thought that I could come like to like, oh, that's what they're talking about. I thought we could come to like maybe the first small area like in this location here, like right here. But as soon as you do, Paimon says something about this area. Just to let you guys know, the reason I thought I could go to this area here is because I thought maybe I'd find some flowers, right? Maybe I'd find something that like I could use to level up Columbina in the first area, but no, I think the first time we'll see that is around here. So I couldn't go any further, unfortunately. But yeah, a lot of people talk about it being the Doctor. Let's see what this is, by the way. A lot of people talk about it being the Doctor. Wander lonely as a cloud. That's awesome. Okay. And I totally get the idea behind that, because I think that like even I said in the episode that we finished off Act 8 in, that like the Doctor is an extremely powerful character. Look at the chest up here as well. An extremely powerful character. They're also like a master of trickery and lies and deceit. And while you tell them, see, Lolly. While I know for a fact he lost that battle and he was outsmarted in that moment, it wouldn't surprise me too much if like he all of a sudden arrived back right in front of us in some way. Now, here's the thing. I think it's one of those situations where, like, would I want him to come back? Personally, it's one of those things where, like, I know people will, like, you know, debate the idea of that as well. Like, do you want him to come back? Do you not want him to come back? I think his ending there was actually very satisfactory to me. I think for the Tori fans, like, die-hard Tori fans, it's probably not very satisfactory because they probably want to see even more of him. But for me, like, you know, this was a big moment for Columbine. I really liked it. But anyway, wait, what? What? Marvelous Megoras. So we obviously have to aim this. And they come back to life? That's so beautiful. This is really cool. But yeah, the other theory I saw, and I actually don't think I'll share their name just if they want to acknowledge that it was them in the comments, please do, because again, people, while you can say, well, Calvin, it's a public forum, I don't always like just put people's comments in videos unless they really want me to, and it's not because I'm just gonna make sure people know this is mine. I love this bridge here. It's a really cool looking location here. I know this probably leads to Luga quest, by the way, which again, I do plan on doing at some point. It's just like finding the time to do everything is always crazy. Yeah, let's activate this here. But someone, oh, it's so cool, Void Sea Overlook. I guess this is another one of those reputation rewards things. So cool. I'm guessing this might be even the Luga quest, so we might try and like avoid that for now. But someone else said, which I actually think was really cool, a really great idea, was that the glitch could also be the idea of like the heavenly principles waking up. Which it could be a thing. Again, I think there's totally a likely situation where the reality is that it is like this thing where like Dotori's back, right? Or Dotori wasn't fully gone. There's totally like that idea 100%. But I do love the idea of like when we found the spaceship, all of a sudden the heavenly principle was like, nah. Or like it awoke something in them, something they were trying to hide from us. And I think it's a really cool theory. What I could probably do, again, I hope you understand like why I don't like just like saying people's names in videos just in case they don't want to, but like if they want to, I can definitely edit out this part here. But their name was Liara, right? That's what I'll do. And if you want me to edit it out, please let me know, and I can just literally cut it out 100%. It's one of those things where like I don't want to like, you know, take someone's idea, but then I don't want to also like I also don't want to just like name people out fully, because then people might be like, no, like I don't want to be named out of the video, which is totally fair. It's totally fair. But yeah, that's one of the things I thought of as well, or one of the things I really liked in terms of a theory. I love this bridge. I don't know why. It's such a cool like location, isn't it? Yeah. I think it's very likely it could be the Doctor, right? It could be like, oh, he's not actually gone. But also, I think when you talk about a glitch in Genshin, it could mean numerous things. It could mean like there's a whole new force that was awakened during that time. It could mean that there was a whole when Dotori messed, oh god, that in fact is a world quest. Getting this out of the way, like I'll say it a million times over, guys, like please, Genshin, you don't have to act, and here the focus doesn't work on everything. I know people say do the focus, it doesn't work on everything. Please, Genshin, just don't just please put it in a thing where it doesn't have to activate a world quest. If that's a really important world quest, I'll do it later 110%, but putting a world quest right in front of the walkway, I don't know. Like you can see there's like enemies there now as well. I understand like this is a thing we can go back and do as well, but like this is not the plan for today, guys. It's really not the plan for today, unfortunately. But I will do that at some point as well. I know we're just leaving a fight there, but it's not the plan today. It's not the plan today. I've said this before, and you know people do rightly respond about the focus thing, but if I'm just exploring, it doesn't really work like that, right? It doesn't really work like that. And also, the focus doesn't stop every world quest. I've gotten marked for world quests before as well. I really have. But yeah, that's my idea there as well. The idea that like, this could be an awakening of something. It doesn't have to be Dotori, but I think it is like the idea that something has awoken. If it is heavenly principles, that's absolutely terrifying. If it is a situation where it's Dotori, it's absolutely terrifying. It could be some third unknown situation where I don't even like know. Look at this area with the crops too. Like it shows like this really like rural area of Nodkarai, which is really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. Like, no matter what, I think it was, like, trying to, like, show us that something has gone wrong. And it could be just because Dotori was messing with the false sky, right? Oh, let's go over here and try to get that. Like, that's a big thing for me as well, is, like, the idea that if Dotori was messing with the false sky, it does, to me, make sense at that stage that, you know, whatever was upset, or maybe something was upset by this. We were, you know, moving in between worlds. You know, Columbina was like, you know, shifting in between like different type. I know it's not a great way to describe it, but shifting between different like realities and stuff like that as well. Look at the banners here as well. It's so cool. It's so cool. Yeah, we will 100%. Again, I know it says help to like you, but they're getting beaten up right now. I will 100% do that quest right at some stage. Well, not 100%. I don't know what the quest is. It could be a quest that's not a quest that we won't be doing, but still. Look at these areas. Is this just, oh my god, this is like the Ratnik area. This is so cool. This is so, so cool. With this beautiful music as well. Because I think this is probably what Luga's quest will lead us to, right? Is this area here, 100%. But yeah, that's what I think it was the glitch at the end. I think something was awakened. Whether it's going to be something beautiful or dark or terrifying, I think something got upset and has awoken in that moment. Whether it is the heavenly principles, whether it is some other force, whether it is because we were messing so much with the idea of like the sky and different realities and the past and the future and all this stuff, we have no real idea. But it is a terrifying thing anyway. This is a really cool area. Holy hell, this is a cool area. The music as well. Again, I have no doubt that Luga's quest takes us here 100%, right? 110%. Oh my god, this music is so freaking good. This music is so freaking good. There's so much passion in this song. Cookie Otter says, what do you think about Genshin's story telling up until now, in your opinion? Would it be a good decision to rework some of the past Archon quests to better fit the quality of storytelling in Nakarai? Now, I don't think this is exactly what you're saying, but I think it is like the idea of like maybe going back and like remaking some of the quests and like adding some new story details. I think that like it's goes without saying sometimes. Look at this. Holy hell, man. Is that a castle? No, it's a mountain. Okay, I was like, that's a dark castle. That's so cool. I might even like leave this area if this is the Luga quest, because like there's oh, that is the Luga quest. Look at that. Yeah, 100%. I think Aluga will definitely bring us around this whole facility, but it's cool to get a look at it, right? 100%. 100%. But yeah, like in terms of that question, or in terms of reworking stuff from the past, I generally like probably don't want them to go back and like change stuff, just because I really love the Genshin quest, and I think that there's so much like beautiful history in there as well. Even though like the 100% the Mondstadt quest now, even though I love it still and so beloved, like comparing the storytelling in the first Mondstadt Archon quest to the storytelling in say like a Fontaine or a Sumeru, it is like very, very different. Now there is like, I think that Mondstadt is very like pure fantasy in a way, in such a cool way, which I think is like a really cool thing. Yeah, we'll wait to explore the rest of this area for a bit. Loved how this looked. They really outdid themselves with this area. Oh, look at this too. This like frozen forest type. What? Wait, what? I'm in the air. Genshin, I'm in the air. I'm literally flying in the air. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's one of my critiques about Genshin that I hold true. And here's the thing, people say use the focus mode, but like I found that the focus mode doesn't always work when it comes to just bumping into random world quests. It just doesn't. And in this case, what would I focus on? There's no mission right now. And somebody might say, Calvin, just do the world quest then. But the thing is, like, I like doing things in my own time, 100%. I think it's okay to 100%. I think you guys know it's okay to have that critique where it's like, please, like, just don't. I think every world quest, at least the majority of them, should be activated through going up and talking to someone or going up and activating it personally. That's my take, right? Or even if I get near a quest, just have a thing pop up saying, do you want to do this world quest? And if I say yeah, then to do it. I know people are going to count as such a minor nitpick or whatever, but I feel like it's actually just one of those things that makes something I like doing, which is exploring, a lot more fun and a lot less like, oh, am I going to run into a world quest here? 100%. Like, I think it wouldn't be a terrible idea to do this. Let's go down here first then, because they want us to go down here first. There's like a wild hunt thing here, but yeah, in terms of like redoing stories from the past, we're gonna have a lot of stuff, I guess, where I'm gonna get kind of like interrupted here a little bit by myself. I think that it's one of those situations where, like, I personally don't want a retreading or like to redo anything from the past, just because I love looking at the history stuff you got as well. But I do get what you're saying in terms of like matching it to like what it is now. And especially like maybe for new players who come in to be like, oh, like, is this going to be something, is this what the quests are like? And I think here's the thing, like, I think Mondstadt is already like really fantastic. So I don't think they're going to have like much of an issue with that. personally. Because I played through Mondstadt and I thought like this is so charming and so beautiful, and it's like a pure fantasy novel almost in some ways. So like for me, it's like one of those situations where like I totally get it, but maybe not changing it entirely would be the right way to go about it. But the thing is, if they ever wanted to, I don't know. If they ever wanted to do something like that, I wouldn't be like absolutely opposed to it, honestly. Wait, is this the right? I think it is the right weapon, because it's one of those things where like I always want the artist to kind of like want to if Genshin wants to go back and rework some of the stuff that they did, then that'd be totally cool. Because again, I look at like Resident Evil Remake and how like that's my favorite horror game of all time, and that was remade by the actual creator of the original Resident Evil. So if the people who are actually love their game and are actually creating the game can rework stuff into the old story, add some stuff if they wanted to too, maybe even update some stuff, and that's what they want to do, then I'm totally okay with that. I think also the same thing too, I'm kind of like, I love the idea of just preserving what it is, you know what I mean? Because I think it's, whilst like, again, as I said, Mondstadt and I know this is what you're saying, I know Cookie Cutter isn't saying that it wasn't as good, or Mondstadt isn't good, or Liyue isn't good. While, I think Liyue and Mondstadt obviously, like, you know, you compare them to like later stories and it might be like very, very like a big gap in a difference. Look at this area. It's so kind of freaky, isn't it? It's really freaky with all the different tree branches. I hate it. I don't hate it in terms of like its look. I hate it in terms of how it makes me feel. Like, look at all the, like, even the branches are like all like thin and interconnected. It looks so weird. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where like I would want it to kind of stay the same. If it's what I would lean to. Again, it's one of the, as I said, if the engine said, hey, we want to go back and do we want to go back and change things around because we want it to match our current output, I'd be like, sure, 100%. You do that. You do you. It's your story. It's something you're passionate about. And if you think that you because I think there's no doubt about it that like that happens quite a bit. You know, when Shadow of the Colossus got remade, I remember Fumito Ueda, even though he wasn't listened to, had a lot of notes about what he wanted to do back in the day but couldn't do. So he had a lot of notes about being like, I wish I could have done this, I wish I could have done this, I wish I could have done this, and they didn't really listen, which I think is very kind of like, because like I know like the team that made the game were probably like, well, we want to make it our own, but it's like, no, dude, like that's like if I was remaking someone's work and they emailed me and were like, hey, like could you do this? I'd be like, yeah, so cool, you know. Especially if you're like remaking their story beat for beat, which is what they tried to do in the end, just beat for beat remake the story. To me, it's like Abyssal Barrier Fogs. A mist barrier form continuously accumulating abyssal energy can be dispelled using Kaveki Currents. However, if the mist barrier is made up of multiple abyssal fog barriers, all abyssal fog barriers connected to it must be cleared first. Only then can the mist barrier be fully dispelled. Okay. Sharpshooter. There's so much new things. A strange plant that coexistents with Kaveki energy, you can gain the ability to deploy the shield and unleash the razor-sharp Kaveki light blades. Oh, cool. By absorbing its fruits, after absorbing its fruits, deploy a shield that can block incoming attacks from the outside shield. While holding to deploy a shield, you can aim and unleash the Kaveki light blade. At the same time, you can also tap the switch to horizontal and vertical orientation of the Kaveki light blade and target different enemies. This ability can be used to deal damage to enemies or sever targets that are difficult to attack. In addition, Kaveki light blades will also be used to... Okay, this is like a kind of like attack even. Okay, interesting. So we can use this on certain things. Where's it leading us here? There's so much different new things here. What are we doing with this? Abyssal lurks constantly beyond the border, keeping a watchful eye over the world. These rift lines are the probes they extend from the fissures, using spire blooms to unleash Kaveki light blades and sever the weak nodes. These rift lines unleash sufficiently strong Kaveki currents to eliminate them. Oh, so and people. So that's what they were saying earlier with the things we were talking about earlier as well. Oh god, there's a world quest every 2 seconds. Holding aim. So that's how we do it. That's so cool. This new mechanic is actually like really, really neat. Really, really cool idea. This whole area feels so strange, doesn't it? It's such a weird location. Like, I'm just doing it like that as well. Like, it feels really, really good.
Things come to those who wait.
But this whole area just feels otherworldly, right? But yeah, like my answer to that question would be, I think that I get what you're saying. I think the idea of like, you know, not remaking, but updating a few things, right? So I'm like in the camp, and maybe I'm weird. I'm in the camp where I'm like, if the creators want to do it, cool, right? I'll support them.
To those who wait.
But also at the same time too, I would always like an option to play the original as it is, right? 100%. I think there should be like a switch that you can choose. Wait, what? What? Under the influence of the purific energy, these wondrous plant-like creatures have emerged after a long period of evolution. They will look like goats on the outside, but they are essentially the fruit of some mysterious plant. After absorbing the seed core that resides within it, you may direct its movement. Throw a fruit core to guide its movement and launch it to... We can use this as like to attack things? Like to launch at it? Wait, these rocks? Is that what they're saying? This is interesting, just like all these new mechanics. No, okay, I'm so sorry. Maybe we'll find something else for it to barge into? This is crazy for a new mechanic. Yeah, so that is kind of like what my answer is. If they want to do it, I'll support them, but I always want the option to play the original game again. And the original version of the game, regardless of if it's like inferior. You know what I mean? Because like it's one of those things where like I love the Demon's Souls remake, by the way. Right? I love the Demon's Souls remake. It's one of my favorite remakes, right? I love it. There's some stuff I don't love about it. There's some stuff I actually think they did really poorly, like with the music and stuff like that as well. But I also think at the same time too, if they told me then, okay, we're delisting or the original, I want to make it clear, Cookie Otter isn't saying this because I never want to like make someone's opinion not the opinion that they're saying. Cookie Otter isn't saying get rid of the old game. They're saying what we think about updating and adding things, but I just made it into a whole different thing as well. But yeah, it's just as simple as that. Like I personally would think it'd be really cool to see like what they would add. Would they add like more information? Would they add like new voiceovers? Would they add new put characters in different locations that weren't there before that like add to the story a little bit? Maybe. But I just would love the option to always play the original, because the original, there's something special about it. Even like Mondstadt, even though it's like much more simplistic and has like different animations and it isn't as like detailed sometimes as the other areas, to me that's sometimes very special. You know what I mean? That's very, very special to me. Retro Ross says, are you hoping that Sandrone will come back in the future, or should Genshin implement more risks of frequent kill-offs, possible player characters as story continues? I think that there's two answers to this. Selfishly, I would love Sandrone to be around us, right? Selfishly, I would love Sandrone to be back. Look at this area, man. It feels like I'm in a different universe. It feels like I got transported to a different place. Selfishly, I would want Sandrone to come back. Selfishly, I want her to be a part of this world. Selfishly, I want her to be beside us again and make jokes with Columbina. I want that. But I think my other answer to that would be, I'm just taking a look around this area. It's so freaking cool. It's such a scary but like mystical area. And again, I'm sure the World Quest will explain these areas much more 100% in some way. But I'm also like, my idea of risks and stuff, I guess, in games is different from like other people feel about risks sometimes. I think trauma that has been brought on by a certain situation, to me is like, can be as powerful as a death in some way, in some cases too. Like the consequences to situations that happen in Genshin means characters have changed, which means people have been, scarred for life, which means people have seen like some of the most horrific things in their time as characters in this world of Teyvat. But I think that for this story, you know what I mean? For the story in general, I think it's like it probably is for the best if they this time around, don't resurrect Sandrone. Now, here's the thing. It technically would be possible to resurrect Sandrone in a way, because she was a machine, but I wouldn't say you'd get the same personality and all this stuff too. But I also like, again, selfishly, if you told me tomorrow, like, hey, Calvin, you flip the switch to bring back Sandrone, right? Look at this lizard. Would you do that, right? Would you flip that switch? And the answer is probably yes. But again, I acknowledge how selfish that is. I acknowledge that, like, it's me wanting to just be with the character I love. But if I look at it from a lens of, like, a story point, I'm like, it was a pretty intense and emotional and heavy part of the story. Now, there's difference, like, say the stuff with, like, Hu Tao, like, I know, like, that brought up, like, a lot of discussion, but for me personally, like, you know, people say you can't have your cake and eat it too, like, I think, you know, never had cake, because you actually can eat your cake and eat it too, believe it or not. Again, another world quest. I mean, it's glad I'm glad they have content, you know what I mean, 100%. This is a really cool thing, by the way, that factors it. Wait, is this a car? I just realized there's a car. We have cars in Genshin now, guys. We have cars. Vroom, vroom. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm like, I think the situation with Columbina was different for me personally. I think you have to, like, follow these over and over again. Because, sorry, the difference in Hu Tao's situation and Sandrone's situation is, the whole story of Hu Tao was, you know, people not wanting to throw her life away for these situations, and showing how appreciated she was, and etc. You know, like, it's a completely different story from what happened to Sandrone. Sandrone, like sacrificed herself to deal with Dotori. And I think it's going to be one of those things where if Dotori does come back, it's going to, like, hurt like hell. Because then we have this situation where, you know, I want to make it clear, it was not for nothing. I want to make it, because I think one of the first things we're going to think is, like, was Sandrone's sacrifice for nothing? The reason why I say it wasn't for nothing is because in that moment, if Dotori, even, so let's say that is one of Dotori's fragments, even if it was, like, one of his fragments that did the thing that happened there, the thing is, even if it was a I don't have to do this here, even if it was a fragment, he still would have, like, done an incredible amount of damage as a fragment. So, like, that fight that happened there prevented so much devastation on a global level, at least for now. So legitimately, it is one of those things where it's never going to be for nothing, right? It's never going to be for nothing. But I don't know, yeah, story-wise, it's one of the most powerful deaths in the entire game. And it hurts. It hurts so bad. Selfish-wise, I want her back, if that answers the question. If that answers the question. Story-wise, it was so impactful and so incredible that, like, it probably should stay the way it is. Selfish-wise, bring her back. Bring her back, Edgen, selfish-wise. Oh, okay, we helped with the Ratniks, and I'll take this too. You don't mind me taking your supplies, do you? Lock me up, I've been taking your supplies. Lock me up. That's a joke because I took your supplies, you know, joke. Yeah, that's my answer to the question. Selfish and clear-headed, baby. Again, I don't really know if it's like Poka. Again, because they don't show the names of people anymore, but it's up on the screen right now as well. Which area do you wish we could spend more time in the game or / return to in the future? For me, it would be Dragon Spine / the Chasm. I think, you know, the Chasm, returning to the Chasm is always something that, like, I think is on people's minds for sure. I think it's on a lot of our minds. The idea of returning to the... Is that like an area we can go into? Oh, maybe. You see the thing over there? Possibly. But yeah, returning to the Chasm is definitely something that's on people's mind for sure. I think a lot. It's an area that's so important lore-wise, and it has such a great presence to it. Like, when you're going through that area, I find it to be, like, such a terrifying thing. And I think that's one thing that Genshin does really well, is, like, instantly terrifying areas that are terrifying without even showing you a thing yet, and then it becomes more terrifying as time goes on. So yeah, the Chasm's a really good answer. In terms of areas I would like to explore, I hope that they reuse the Holiday Resort in Natlan. I know it sounds like maybe like it's a more fun idea, But like now that they have this area, don't... Huh? Who's there? Who's there? Oh, look at this. This is so freaky. What the hell? It's very magical, but it's freaky. That's the way I describe it. But yeah, even though it was more of a fun area, I still think that they should definitely utilize it, right? 100%. Look at that in there as well. Again, I guarantee you that this is all going to be in the World Quest with the Luga. I guarantee you that we're going to get to see a lot of this stuff with the World Quest and the Luga. I guarantee you. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was, this area. For sure. But then at least with the World Quest and the Luga, we can like re-look at a lot of this stuff as well and see how pretty it is too. Like, look at that. That's insane looking. The Pillar of Embla. But well, yeah, we're just doing a basic exploring anyway. Like, I don't feel bad about that, you know? But yeah, I think that to reuse the holiday resort area, please do. Don't think that we just can't utilize a fun space just because it was utilized once. I know you can still go back there, but I'd like to like really have another story there, or like even like, and I don't think they should do like, they might do like something like that as well. But I think it'd be a really fun idea sometimes as well, like having a mini event there, having like people have like a bit of we're going after a lot of quest markers, by the way. Having people go through like a nice little small vacation. Like imagine imagine Hu Tao and Shangling go to a cooking competition there. You know what I mean? Something like that as well, or like, you know, that type of competition, like anything like that, where it's like, oh, this is like super fun. All the music here, man. It's so cool. You know what I mean? Something like that. Something that has like, are you okay? You want to fight? Yeah. Something like where it's like a mini vacation there. I think in terms of other areas as well, I'm glad we're still using leeway, but there's like certain, I know this sounds really weird, maybe you guys will agree. I don't know, but like there's areas on the world map themselves that like, okay, that we just never get to travel to as much anymore. Because like I don't think Genshin really thinks about those areas in that same way. But like for example, like I always think of like the mountains in Leeway, just the random areas and random mountains in Leeway. How we just like never like go near that much anymore because like we already went there for like traversal and stuff like this too. But there's like random villages, the random areas that are so freaking cool that you get to see in like in certain locations. Even like stuff like in Mondstadt, like where, you know, there's camps and mountaintops that we do. In fairness, they did use the mountaintops during paralogism, they did. But that's what I love so much about Genshin. That's what I would like to see again, is like the reusal of that type of stuff there, you know? Let me see some of the stuff. Please. You know? Didn't mean to do that to you, buddy. You know? Let me reuse some of that stuff. How do we get this? Just shoot it? I don't know. That's what I would kind of like, to reuse those type of areas as well, to see those locations like in random areas be used again. Certain things that like see where we're standing right now, like just I want to see like random areas in the map, like and you know, I want to be in a Archon quest like somewhere and have like I'll show you. I'll actually show you. I want to I will very quickly warp away. I want them to be like, oh, like we're going to the Apon Woods for like a quest of some kind. You know what I mean? In terms of an Archon quest. Like, look at this. Oh, today we're going to, and where's Leeway here? Today we're going to, here, right? And we're actually going to talk here. We're planning stuff here. I love that stuff. Like, just the random locations here in these worlds that, like, we traversed through once or twice, maybe done a world quest around. But we never truly, like, stay there for too long, and I think it'd be really cool to see that stuff be utilized in more quests, because they have like a beautiful world here. And you could say, well, Calvin, that's why the world is so beautiful, is because it's fleeting. You don't always just like stay in one area. Sometimes things are there not to be part of quests, just to see stuff and see the beauty of them. 110%, but that doesn't mean we can't have the best of both worlds sometimes. 100%. That's the way I look at it anyway. Personally, that's the way I look at it. And that's the location I definitely would want to see in this world. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Tartaboy says, do you think a civil war between the Harbingers will happen? Like a disagreement or a feud where we oppose Piero, Pulcinella, and Pantaloni with Child, Arlecchino, and Sandrone on our side? And do you think Skirk will be in an Archon quest again, or a real plot play? Because Snezhnaya is where her own discipline obviously lives, and she wants to reunite with him, even though she chooses to not to for the sake of Ajax's safety. Interesting. So
I created another universe and founded paradise.
You're saying with the second question, do you think Skirk will join the plot again in Snezhnaya? But she doesn't want to obviously reunite with her teacher because of fear of what's happening with reunite with Tartaglia because of like a fear of like what could happen to him. 100%. Okay, in terms of the first question, I genuinely do think that there could be some sort of like war between the Fatui. I think that what's been happening with the Fatui Harbingers, I don't know if it's expected. Look how beautiful this place is in the rain as well. The green grass, it's so gorgeous. I think it is one of those situations where it probably is like more expected than we think for the Tsaritsa. I think the Tsaritsa probably foresaw a path of destruction, right? I know maybe that's like not the right way to put it, but I genuinely do think that the Tsaritsa predicted in some ways, or probably not predicted, but maybe saw like, or even like kind of like ascertained that like if you go on this path with the few Harbingers, it probably is going to be like a wake of destruction, and maybe you're going to lose a lot of people along the way. Did Benny die? Crazy. But yeah, but I can tell, since there is like already been a breaking point as it pertains to the characters in our stories and the two Harbingers themselves. We've seen lines in the sand. We've also seen that whilst they didn't directly, but I'm actually just warped to here. While we've seen they didn't actually portray the Tsaritsa. In fact, they went to true regulations. Like I was saying, they were going to go to regulations. But I do think that there is a thing in my heart that I think the Knave, and I know Sandrone is gone, but I think the Knave, oh god. Ascend the tower? There's a world quest every 2 seconds in this game now. There's probably some really amazing world quests. And I just want to make it clear, I never like hate world quests. It's just a situation where I would like them not to activate world quests when we're like wandering around the world, you know? I think that's just not, I think it's a fair thing to ask for. That's definitely a world quest here as well, yeah. So let's try and go around it a little bit here. And we'll go around that area too. But yeah, I think because we now know that the Knave and Tartaglia have an allegiance, right? That is, they have an allegiance to Tsaritsa. But I genuinely think, their love for the Traveler and their care for the Traveler and their care for the people around them now has shown through so fully. And especially with those two characters for sure. Where we definitely have them at least proclaiming how they would, you know, how much they care for the Traveler and how much, especially Tartaglia. Like Tartaglia, I would love to see a scene where like this, like we have a misunderstanding with the Tsaritsa and she hurts us in some way, and then Tartaglia is there to see it, because I genuinely believe that he can't contain himself. Like the only way he was able to contain himself and not go after the Tory recently was legitimately because the Knave advised him not to, right? And if she wasn't there, I genuinely think we would have had like a possible situation where the Tartaglia would have probably like gotten. I hope like this doesn't sound like I'm saying Tartaglia is a bad fighter, but I do think it's one of the situations like where it took so many people to take down the Tory, including the Knave, that I think Tartaglia would have been in a very terrifying situation, and the next Star Conquest would have been us trying to save Tartaglia, you know what I mean? So like I do think that like he would definitely fight for the Traveler, and I know some people would say like, well, Calvin, they have like this utter allegiance to the Tsaritsa that cannot be shook. But I generally think that what we're seeing over the past while is that the Fatui, at least the ones we know, also like cater to their emotions too, and they're real people. They're real people, and I think treating them like robotically in that way is never a good way to go. It's never a good way to go. I don't think it would be betrayal of Tsaritsa whatsoever. I think if the Tsaritsa sees all of the Fatui members having a civil war, she might not even step in. She might feel like it's a necessary solution to maybe to sort out some problems between all of them, if they do have problems. But I just know it would be really cool to see the Knave and Tartaglia on her side. And I know, I just have that feeling of like, I have a vision in my head of like, say like the Tsaritsa disagreeing with us on something and hurting us in some way that's not like too serious but still something, and then Tartaglia, you know, having to be held back by the Knave once again. I don't know. I think they would definitely side with us in some situation. Especially, I think they would side with us against other Fatui members in a lot of ways, 100%. And the other question about Skirk joining the story again, I genuinely do think that like she will be back 100%. But I have a vision as well of everyone coming back in the end. I don't know if it's going to be for Snezhnaya, but I do think that people will, all the characters are going to be, I think it's going to be when, my idea of the final chapter of this arc, of this story, is every character that we love and love dearly is going to be a part of an army, fighting tooth and nail. I think you're going to see a full-scale battle, and we're going to have these characters that we love dearly that have helped us so much along the way, fighting alongside us. You're tired of watching Big Wolf Time. It's Big Wolf Time. So I do think we will see Skirk again in some way. But in terms of her being a Snezhnaya, I have no real idea if that's going to happen. Especially, as you said, with the whole thing of her not wanting to, like, but Tartaglia. But I do think that it would be a very interesting story and a very beautiful story to have a Tartaglia story quest, like, part 2, where, it probably would end in heartache, and it probably would end in him maybe understanding a little bit more, and, it would end on maybe some, like, it'd be cool if they could create, like, a... Because I know, like, anything's possible now in Genshin, but if they could create something where...
Where do you want this stuff delivered to, boss?
Wherever you want, Gammon. If they could create something where... Look at this, is like green? It's weird how it's warping the whole world. But if they could create something where, like, there's, like, a space where the Heavenly Principles can't even look at... And I know they probably could do something like that. And then, when they do that, Tartaglia and Skirk can talk and she can explain maybe. But I think the problem is it's like an emotional thing as well, right? Where like she doesn't want him to like even be like, even there for to be a chance of attachment. So there's, oh my god, look at all this stuff, man. It's so freaking sick. Again, fully explained in the world quest, 110%. 110% it's fully explained in the world quest, I'd say. That's a freaking Eye of Sauron. What the hell? And I hope you guys don't mind me like avoiding some bigger stuff like this and this, because again, it's one of those things where I guarantee you it's going to be explained in some way. This seems like a very world quest heavy island. Let's go get this on the wing. We can get this actually first. No, let's get this first. We're closer to this. Yeah, I hope you guys don't mind me avoiding stuff like that for now. We can look at it at a distance and then maybe see if there's like a quest we can do to like get more context of it. But it looks so freaking sick. Like look at that. It's freaking insane. But yeah, I think that it's I think it's a sad thing to say, but Skirk and Tartaglia's story is meant to be a sad one. And I know that sounds so horrible to say. I think there's times where they'll have happiness and we can fight for Tartaglia's happiness, but I think Tartaglia is one of those characters that is doomed to kind of never fully have everything they want, and the same with Skirk. And that's just sometimes what happens in how, Genshin sometimes is, I feel like, it definitely is like that sometimes, 100%. Thank you for the question. Lila Kevin says, what do you think about Paimon being asmonday? Would you still care for Paimon if she was a god that stopped you from leaving Teyvat? And just on that thought process, what do you think of Paimon is as a being? And no cheating in saying Paimon is Paimon. Here's the thing. You say it's cheating, but like that's been like my theory since the beginning, and It's always been my thought process is that Paimon is Paimon. Because to me, like, that encapsulates, like, what I think about Paimon in general, which is Paimon is Paimon. Look at the clouds, it looks so cool, don't they? It really feels like what you see, like a fishing village in, like, I can't get over that freaking Eye of Sauron over there. That's absolutely terrifying. It's like a fishing village, like, where, like, there's, like, always, like, kind of like a kind of a clouds on the distance, you know. It really does feel terrifying. It's actually beautiful. Look at this with the clouds and this, like, this island sticking up from the top. That's so awesome. But yeah, yeah, like, it embodies, like, what I feel about Paimon, which is, like, no matter what, Paimon will always be Paimon, right? And it's obviously, like, you know, if you want me to answer differently, I can definitely do that, because again, that's always going to be my thought process. The Paimon is Paimon means no matter who she is, no matter what she is, no matter whatever she is, at the end of the day, she will always just be Paimon. And I think literally the final conversation with Paimon in this game, whenever it's going to be, is actually going to be that. It's going to be a conversation where they go like, oh, like, you know, and this whole journey was finding out who you were. And then we're going to be like, did you find out who you were? And she's going to be like, yeah, Paimon's Paimon, you know? And it's going to be a moment where, you know, I'll bawl my eyes out. That's the moment I'm thinking it's going to happen here as well. There you go. Oh, no. Okay, that's fine. Oh, and it leads us to the other island. Thank you so much. I was so worried it was in the world quest. But yeah, but in terms of, like, what do I think about her being asmonday? You asked me directly what I think about her being asmonday. I think it's a really cool idea for a story. I think that it's one of those situations where I don't buy into the theory fully, but if it becomes a true theory, I'm not going to, like, be upset. I'm not going to be like, oh, like, what the hell? No. I think it's one of those situations where this could be the story. This could be it. And if it's not it, and if it is it, that'd be interesting to say the least. You also asked what would I think if she was someone who helped us stop look at this Eye of Sauron stuff is insane. So can we, like, aim at this? Sorry, wrong button. It's actually terrifying with the music, right? Okay, I was looking at the tutorials and I can't quite figure out what I'm supposed to do there, but that's okay. But yeah, in terms of Paimon being asmonday, it will not hurt me. Paimon has this eternal thing with me where the journey was so beautiful that I will never shun her and never be against her. She is a character who... This music, man, is so freaking good. It's so freaking good. She's a character who, like, has been with me, I mean, our character, more than any other character in this game. There's no companion in the history of video games. I'm going to say, in the history of video games, there's not one companion that has been, like, with a character for this long and through this many stories. I'd be willing to bet on that as well, by the way. I'd be willing to sit here and actually legitimately, like, I forgot you have to kill them twice. You can tell I don't fight much of the Wild Hunt that often. I was like, you can't just bring down your health. You gotta, like, do it twice. Maybe Gammon isn't, like, the best character for this, because if he doesn't have his ability, then we're, like, you know, kind of up a... I know he's not too bad. But yeah, it is, it's one of those situations where, like, I'm never gonna shun Paimon ever. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna upset me either that if she is... And again, I understand there's, like, implications there where, like, we're gonna have to, like, you know, cross the bridge when we come to it. Of course. But I'm crossing the bridge with Paimon no matter what. Are you okay? You can shoot those guys over the thank you. Oh, they reappeared. Yeah. And, like, my love for Paimon is on, and I know, like, it's the same with you probably like Heaven. My love for Paimon is, like, there on the worst days and on the best days. It's gonna be there for when she's sick and when she's, you know, not doing good. It's gonna be there for when she is ever rude or says something mean to me by her own frustration. It's gonna be there, and I'm gonna be very understanding. You're talking about the character that like I have literally like nearly gone to war for and would go to war for. It's one of those situations where like named characters, like let's say like, and some characters I love, like it's, if they come to me and they argue with me, or they argue with Paimon, I should say. Like, I'm taking Paimon's side. Are you okay? And you could say that Calvin is probably pretty biased, right? To like, take the side of Paimon no matter what. And the answer would be like, my biases for Paimon are eternal. They are. And it's just because I know Paimon's a good person. Paimon's like the first to step up and help people. She's the first to step up and ask people if they're doing okay. She's the first to check on us, and she's the first to check on everybody. The music here is so freaking cool. There's a thing with a lot of people who hate. Here's the thing: it's okay to hate a character, but hate her for the right reasons. And so whenever I see like people being like, "She's awful because of this, and this," and it's like, that's such a Can you guys stop shooting, because it's knocking him down into a place we can't fight him? Can you please? Thank you so much. Like I actually think that you're maybe being a detriment a little bit. Can you? Sorry. Yeah, look, we'll go over here, buddy. I do think people mischaracterize Paimon a lot. Like this, I think it's like always like in a very like unfair fashion where like people will be like, like Paimon will say something like it's very, very slight, where it's not even that big of a deal, right? Where Paimon will be like, "Oh, I hate Pepsi, I hate Pepsi. Pepsi sucks," and it's like, and then people are like, see, all along I knew this. All along I knew Paimon was rude. She insults Pepsi, even though there's so many Pepsi drinkers in Genshin. I should have activated Lottie move. It's okay. It's okay. Did he respawn? With full health? Okay, no, you can have him then. That's fine. Really always really don't like the tethering with that. But hey, whatever. It's like, okay, like for me, like those Randy's guys were like literally knocking, like, see what I mean? Like they're knocking him into a different place. So yeah, like it's look, go on, knock him into the place where he's going to get tethered again. Go on. It's just stop hitting him. I got this. It may take me a while, but I got this. Please stop hitting him. Please stop. Please stop hitting him. I swear. Please stop hitting him. Knock him back into the... Please. No, stop it. Stop it. Knock him back into this area. Knock him back in. No, stop it, guys. You're not helping. Randix, you're not helping. Good boys. You're not helping. If you want to help, shoot him now. Quickly. Shoot him now. Shoot him now. Oh, are they resting now? Oh, I understand. It was a tiresome bit of shooting, wasn't it? I understand, boys. I understand. Don't worry about that. It was tiring, wasn't it? Knock him into the place where he gets tethered, then go back to sleep for a bit, of course. Tough times, isn't it? Yeah, maybe this isn't my best team to fight these guys. I think I should use a team where I know like them a lot better, but I used the wrong move again. The music here's so awesome as well. I should not have switched to Goblin, even if yeah, I should not have switched. No, stay this way. Stay up here. Please stay up here. Are they shooting him again? No, they're not. Now we're just knocking him back over here.
Show no mercy.
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
I keep forgetting to use the ice move before him, but I'm just like, I want to get this guy over and done with now as well. Yeah, I'm not very good with this team. I understand how to use the team, but I think it's just like, it's not always my best team here for sure. Yeah, my bad. Completely my bad there. I might switch teams just when we're fighting the Wild Hunt, just so we have like something really concrete that I know how to use very well. So I might go with, this team. But yeah, that would be my answer. My answer is it will never upset me. I hope that is okay. while like, and I know like I don't do like big theories like that, so I know it's like always like, you know, I'm not the best person to ask about that stuff, but it is one of those situations where like that's what I will feel. You know what I mean? That's how I'll feel in the end of the day. I will be shocked and I will be so surprised and it'll be really crazy and a big moment. But I think it's also one of those things where I'll be like, you know, accepting of who Paimon is, even as asmonday. Lemon K4H asks, what are your hopes and expectations do you have for the upcoming story updates, Snezhnaya and beyond? Snezhnaya is going to be the next region we go to. I'm actually like very excited as always. Like this is going to be a thing where like we, you know, it's going to be a while before we get there. Climb the tower. Is this another part of it here?
We go.
It's going to be another thing where like I know for a fact we're going to be in a waiting period now, right? To really wait for what's to come. It's not going to be something that's going to come right away. We have to wait until like, you know, was it October maybe? September, around there again? Which like I'm not like opposed to waiting because like I feel like Nodcry was so crazy with its quests that like, you know, me waiting around for a bit for the next part is not a bad idea. I think also like last year we got so many cool events that like I'm kind of excited to see what ideas they have. You know, I'm kind of excited to see what they come up with when it comes to the different events and stuff like this as well. Because like last year, like I always think of like the flower festival and the summer event being like one of the most exciting things in the world. Like that alone to me, the flower festival is something I remember so fondly, that I would really like genuinely love to see something like that again. Who's shooting him? What was shooting him? Yeah, like 100%. Like it's that's what I'm excited for. But in terms of like Snezhnaya and beyond, because that's the actual question. Really, like I hope as always for some really strong characters, but I think we're gonna get those as well. I hope for like a feeling in this world of Snezhnaya where like the cold feels real, right? The cold feels like the same way like when you go into the Sumeru desert, right? There's a feeling of like heat from there, right? The same way when you go to Nalan, you can feel like this kind of like very beautiful heat, right? It's not a harsh heat. You can almost, and again, when I say you can feel it, you can feel the weather in some places in Genshin, right? It feels that way 100%. And I'm not saying like, you know, I literally feel it, but like you want to feel immersed to the point where like you can definitely tell how people could feel in certain situations. Like for Fontaine, for example, like I definitely think you can get that kind of like they say like this misty feeling from it as well, you know? It's 100%. I want to feel something like that too. When it comes to like the new area, I also would like to have like I think different, and they did that here as well. They do it to every region they go to, but like I can't wait to see the person. You leave that thing alone. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you? I'm finding something. Why? There's a world quest every 2 seconds. What's happening? But yeah, like I want like the obviously personalities once again to be so different. And Snezhnaya, I don't think like the people in Snezhnaya are going to be cold, but I think like, you know, maybe having to be cold on the surface in terms of like I think that like one of my favorite things about going to like a different country sometimes, for example, like I love the idea of like traveling to a different country, and then the people seem very cold, right? You're like, oh man, everyone here is kind of a bit like how do you say it? A bit like, it feels like they're a bit annoyed at me every time I try to ask anything or anything like that. But then you kind of find out that like, no, they're not annoyed at you. It's just like a different cultures, different way of speaking, different all, you know, like it's, and that kind of cool thing is waiting to in that way too. Like I love that when you go to Liyue, you get to talk to people about the idea of like contracts and they're very business focused. I love the way in Mondstadt everyone's so free that sometimes they're walking around instead of standing in front of their own shop. Like I love when you go to in Azuma, there was a feeling of like restriction when you first got there. I love when you go to like Fontaine, there was like this real artistry and like pomp and circumstance of like how beautiful this stuff is and like how much they really emphasize the beauty of the arts. Oh my god. Huh? What? Is that wolf in the ice? Oh my god, this I have a feeling the world quests on this island are gonna be incredible. That's magical, man. Oh, it's scary, but it's magical. Okay, we have to check out some of the world quests at some point in this place, 100%. But yeah, I love when you go to like Sumeru, there's, they put an emphasis on like the the perceived personality of the people in the deserts, and you meet them, they're actually like some of the kindest people you ever meet. They have this real feeling of like hoity-toity attitudes, say, with the academia, but then you also see like there's a feeling of being one with nature with a lot of these characters there too. You go to Natlan and you feel like this readiness to either party or or to welcome people in and to fight. Like they're a very like rambunctious, sea of people in a lot of ways. And then like when we come to Nod Karai, I feel like Nod Karai was like this very that might not have been a world quest, but I feel like in Nod Karai the personalities were very much like I don't think single-minded, because I think people like cared about each other, but I think they were very much focused on like everybody's different, everyone has their own path, everyone's doing their own thing, and you could feel that straight away when you got there as well. It's very industrial. So I hope we get some feeling like that too, where there is like completely different personalities for this region too, and it feels so vastly different from what we're used to. That's another thing I definitely hope for. Obviously I hope for like a big story when it comes to like the stuff with Tsaritsa. This is, if we're reading the Tsaritsa, which I imagine we are reading the Tsaritsa soon, if we are meeting the Tsaritsa, which again,
I summon thee.
I kind of like think that's what we're gonna be doing. I kind of hope and pray that they do this right. Because this thing is like, I shouldn't hope and pray. I know they're gonna. It's Genshin, right? Oh, look at you! You're so cute. You're big Billy. You little Billy. You good Billy. This is a really beautiful creature, really cool creature. But yeah, I kind of like really I trust that Genshin will do it right. But like the Tsaritsa has been built up for years. The Tsaritsa has been built up like probably. I think in the chat now, I think they're probably the most like built up character in terms of like who are they, what are they doing. When it comes to the Fatui stuff, of course, they're like the most important as well, 100%. So there's like this situation where like I'm sitting here kind of like, what are they gonna look like? I know we've seen some like, oh god, look down here, really cool. There's so many, this area is, I underestimated how big this area was. It's gigantic. It's actually so big. There's so many different locations, right? What they're gonna look like, what their presence is gonna be. Like for me, like I think that to do the streets right, you need to really, the first second you meet her, it needs to be a feeling of like, oh, I get it. I get why people follow her. I understand. Because I think one of the worst things you could do is have the Tsaritsa be someone who it's like, they seem shaky or they don't seem like the type of person that you would follow. But yeah, the meeting of Tsaritsa, I wanted to be like, one of the most incredible. What is happening, man? Is there like 12 Aluga quests? Am I able to activate this without anything happening? Can I go slowly over to this? Insane. I think that's actually that's his facility there. And there's this cliff here too. There's some really crazy things here, aren't there? Some really crazy things. But the music is gorgeous as well. But yeah, I want the first meeting with the Tsaritsa, and I think the Genshin will do this. I want the first meeting with the Tsaritsa to be like magical in a way where the music is so magical and pretty, but also at the same time too, there's like a pounding feeling in my heart, and I want to be absolutely freaking terrified. I want the area that we're in as well to kind of like, I guess, like be harsh. I know that we usually have beautiful locations, and I think really cold climates can be very beautiful too. I want to make that clear. But I would really love the idea of, oh my freaking god, that is so scary. Again, we're not going to explore every area in this game, by the way, guys, but like, because again, I think some of these things will be explored during World Quest and probably better explored during World Quest. I think this is probably going to be one of them too, right? So we might refrain from like traveling around this area just for this episode. I know it sometimes is not, we did that before with as well with this too, but I hope you understand that like, I think this is probably World Quest stuff, 100%. So let's go here. Yeah. Oh, you okay? You think I care about the chest that much? You're talking to the wrong player. You bumped into Calvin here. But yeah, I would love it to be harsh in a way that, like, you know, some areas are like really, really cold. Like some areas are look at this, it's so cool. Is everything just like a quest in this game? And there's like a spirit wolf over there too. Man, okay, this is one of those things where like I think we're gonna have to look into do a lot of the world quest here. I think we will. I didn't expect this whole place to be like World Quest City. I really didn't. But yeah, that's what I want. I want Snezhnaya to have harsh area where like, and it'd be even cool as well where like, I like kind of Dragonspine-esque where like, you move slowly through the area and it's like very, very cold and you can't do like any much in the area. You have to like, you know, battle through like the cold. It'd be even cool if they like had, I know they're not going to do this, but if they had like actual items you had to equip, or maybe like a companion you had to equip that was like a warm companion that you had to bring with you as well. I'd love to get lost. I'd love if they had an area where there's no map and there's like a snowstorm. Maybe I'm like overestimating how cold Snezhnaya is going to be, but that's kind of like what I would want from it. I want this kind of like freezing temperature type feeling to this world, and I want the world to feel kind of freezing in both emotions and people. I want to make it clear because I think it's, you know, people are gonna be like, Calvin, are you saying that like Eastern European people are cold because it's like based around those areas? I think this area was as well in a lot of ways. Maybe it's not Eastern European, is it? Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Snezhnaya is definitely like kind of, oh, the drift is back, man. I thought it helped with the drift. Oh. But yeah, it definitely is a thing where that's what I want. I want Snezhnaya to be harsh. I want it to be cold. I want there to be places where it's actually difficult to go through. I want there to be a thing where the people who live there judge me for how cold I am. You know what I mean? Look at, holy hell, these locations. It's insane looking places. Look at that. It's like a freaking Star Wars ship or something. But yeah, that's kind of what I want from that, is a great meeting with the Tsaritsa. Really harsh and cold climates to the point that like I'm dying. And there's like places you can get lost. Like I want all these locations to be really, really incredible and scary at times too. And again, I hope it doesn't make it seem like I'm saying just because it's like, you know, it's far up the north and it's cold and like people are harsh and mean. I know that's not true for a fact. I've been to many places that are very, very cold and they're some of the loveliest people you ever meet, like, you know, 110%. But I'm saying in terms of like the exterior, it seems like they're cold, but they're actually like really nice. I'd love something like that as well. But yeah, I hope that answers the question. I hope that's actually like a good enough answer to the question. I want Snezhnaya to be so different in a way that like we have to work to get like everything, you know what I mean? And it's not always the most like beautiful thing to like explore, because it is like known to be a very cold place, you know what I mean? And we have to like really rely on like different techniques to like stay warm, I guess. Goddess Shanye says, how do you feel about the important events like Similanka being a one-time only thing? I think they're trying to change that now, where important events are becoming more permanent in some way. But it was a big oversight for Genshin, and one of the worst things that Genshin did, because Genshin, like, I think at the time, very much like was going with the strategy of like, if we make it so that like there's a massive amount of FOMO for people, they will be forced to come and join our event. And it probably worked for a lot of times. It definitely worked for a lot of times. But it's one of those situations as well where it's a detriment to your game at that stage. You okay? You okay, Spammy Spam? Mr. Spam? And I say it's a detriment to the game because I always go back to one particular event that's so and Similanka is a great example, by the way, of like the stuff with Durin, because he's such an important character now that it's like people who never played that event have to go and watch your video, which again, I did that too and I loved it. But I think the difference is I was doing content creation. Like a lot of people might not sit down to watch a full 3-hour video of an event. They might just watch a summary, but for me it was fun to just react to it with you guys. But they really need to just stay on the path of making events permanent, because the idea that the Hexen Circle event and the introduction to the Hexen Circle was an event that you can never play again is let's just be honest, it's ridiculous. It's very silly. It's so silly. The idea that the introduction of Durin is an event that people can never play again is silly. This is the Tories area we've already been to as well. Because so we've kind of explored all the areas I want to explore then. Yeah. Which means I can probably get some level up items for Columbina then. Right? Because then all the other stuff is probably going to be like world quests and stuff like that too, 100%. We could get this one for sure. But yeah, it's an absolute, it's at the end of all of this, it's one of my critiques of Genshin for a while was like, why is, you even go back and watch the episode where I did the Hexen Circle event. My answer will right away, you'll see, I'll be like this should be permanent. It was so ridiculous that it wasn't permanent. And again, the answer some people have is like, well, Genshin is a freaking business, Calvin. So like, what are they supposed to do? They have to run a business, And my answer to you, beautiful, beautiful people, is you can run a business and you can get people, because you've seen that now with the Durin quest. I think that 100% was an attempt to get more people to sign in on multiple days. I think it's an experiment that they're going to do again, to some people's chagrin. But I think it's also like one of those things where like, you can be a detriment to your own business. You can do something with your own business that isn't actually like a really good thing for your business. I know people might say, well, Calvin, like, why are you a businessman now? No, like, I know, of course, like, maybe you shouldn't take my advice when it comes to business and stuff like that too, 100%. But I feel like when it comes to your freaking story, he's very immune to this, our character. When it comes to, like, the story of your game, I think in the long run, it might make more people be like, okay, because I do think a lot of people from what I've seen, like, a lot of people don't play Genshin for the story anymore, which is crazy. A lot of people just sign in to get characters, and I've actually seen that sometimes. The rare times, because I have like the word Genshin blocked on my Twitter. I have, I don't watch any Genshin videos on my personal account if I can ever help it. But an odd time I'll see like a video. Like one time, like a few months back, I got a video recommended to me on Twitter, or just shown to me on Twitter, which was someone just skipping through the dialogue of a quest I already played. And I know it's probably played off as a joke, but I do think there are people who just don't, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you play games whatever way you want to play them. You do whatever you want to do, So maybe people say like it's not going to be a detriment, but I do think that, like, allowing people to understand your story, because I do think there's some people. If someone came to me and said, can I get into Genshin? I'm like, yeah, sure, do it, dude. It's so great and it's free. And then they might say, okay, very cool. And then a few months later, they come back to me and go, hey, they just introduced Durin and they're talking about him as if we know him fully already. What's happening there? And I'll be like, oh, that was an event. That was years ago. They're like, what? Yeah, you can't do that event anymore. Oh. Okay, and they're also talking about the Hexen Circle as if we know them. Yeah, it's another event you just can't do anymore. Oh. Like, I do think that it would be a situation where, like, it would be very off-putting for some people, so I do think it is something that they definitely need to fix, and they are fixing now. Every event should be permanent, I think. I think it's ridiculous that they're not permanent. I understand, like, if you still want to do business-wise, you don't have to do every event, but I think most events should be permanent, 100%. And just to add to the question from earlier about what I think about now, because I just thought of it there, like, what do I think about what are my expectations for upcoming areas and stuff like this too. In terms of, like, story stuff for those areas, I do think that the world, I think we've gone to a turning point where we can't go back. I think the world's been messed with so many times. I think that the balance of the world, whether it be like, recreating new moons, the shadow of fake moons, all this stuff has been messed with so many times that I really feel like it's one of those things where you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. There's no way that we can pretend like that the world is the same. Everything is so different now. The new moon, and there was a question about that later, about, like, particular about the new moon from Zishan Cruz, which is about, like, they said now that it's wrapped up in the story in Alkarai, what do you think will happen in Alkarai in upcoming patches? General, it would be cool to see how the other nations are affected by the moon. But since I feel like it ties into, like, what my expectations are as well, I could just say that, like, my expectations about what's going to happen with the new moon is more just like a case of, like, the whole world's changed. The new moon has changed. We already saw it affected Lantern Right, so we're only going to expect it to change more stuff going forward. My real honest to God answer when it comes to all this stuff is that the world is never going to be the same again. It can't be the same again. We can't expect this universe to... we can't expect this world to ever be... Can we ascend now? Oh, we can. We can't expect this world to ever be... you know what it feels like? I feel like Nod Karai, and it's so funny because I said this about like some other things too. What's the boss for this, by the way? Oh, this boss here, very cool. Okay, yeah, that's easy. These are exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, I couldn't get them up here. I wanted to get them up here. Who's the person that you find things for Nod Karai? Is it Nefa? Let me see. Actually, I'll just take out my Nod Karai team, but yeah, it's let's see here. Teaches how to goth. I really feel like it is the end of like the Lord of the Rings. I really feel like it is the end of I'm not gonna say like exactly what I mean, but like because I don't want to spoil anything, but like I do feel like it is like legitimately like the last. Is it? I don't think this is. No, maybe maybe I know, maybe. I think it's one of those situations where like we're looking towards the future now with a fear less than an excitement, or more than an excitement. Because before I feel like, you know, it's like one of those things like, oh, I can't wait for this new area, I can't wait for this new world. Maybe it might be Luga as well as this. But now I'm like kind of like I do feel like there's like a feeling in the pit of my stomach that everything has changed. That everything is different. You know, it kind of, you know that moment in a movie where everyone like something massive has happened and everyone goes, things are never gonna be the same again, are they? And everyone feels it. And I feel like we've gotten to a point of no return where like things have been messed with so many times with the characters in this game. As I said, the false sky, the new moon, the shadow on a false moon, the you know, the stuff with the spaceship, all this stuff. Like I feel like it's I do think there is like an awakening of the heavenly principles coming as well. But I do think that there is like a situation like these. Look at these little creatures, by the way. I fought them in the trial. This is not my full team, by the way, so it's not going to work out fully in the best way possible.
The wind knows me. Observe. Close your eyes.
At least we can do that. Yeah, does that make sense? Where I do feel like we're in a phase now where nothing will ever be the same again. And I probably, here's the thing, you know what's so funny? I probably said that at the end of Natlan. And I think I did say at the end of the Nefa quest, but I feel like it's a different feeling. The difference between like, oh, we're going to this world and we're going to see like Varka. But yeah, it just feels very strange, honestly. It feels different. It feels like we're not in Kansas anymore, is the way I'll put it. We're not in our usual place. We're not good. It's not just gonna be like, oh my god, new region. I feel like, you know, whatever's gonna happen next is gonna be on God terms. It's gonna be on like the highest of highs. And you might be like, oh, well, that happened this time. We had a massive battle with Totori and all this stuff too. 110%. But I think you guys get what I'm saying. It's like so huge. It feels like you can't hide from this. We can't just expect this to be like, you know, I think we've awoken something. I think this is going to be, we've gone to a point where this is too big. We've gone to a point where too many things have happened. Too many insane things have happened. For this next region not to just be like a pushback. And again, here's the thing, if it is like one of those things where they are holding off on the heavenly principle stuff until the region afterwards, that could be the case too. Because I think maybe like, now that I think about it, they might want to focus more on the Saritsa and the Fatui, but I think there's going to be stuff there, because they're against the Heavenly Principles also, so I think there's going to be Heavenly Principle stories involved in that, for sure. I'm not expecting us to like have a battle with the Heavenly Principles like right now. I'm not expecting us to like be like, oh, let's go fight the Heavenly Principles right this second. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that things have gone too far. Things have become too big. Not in a bad way. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm saying Genshin's become too big. But I mean, like, we're no longer saving a dragon in Mondstadt. You know what I mean? We're witnessing the ripping and of the false sky. We're witnessing the pulling down of a moon. We're traveling into different places outside of Tefat to see our spaceship. We're defying the heavenly principles on it. Oh my god, what's this? It's so pretty. It is pretty. All the Sealies as well, all the angels. Oh, this is gonna be. There's gonna be some quests here that are gonna be really, really cool for sure, for sure. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel in it. It's gone too far, guys. That's gonna do for all the questions this week. But again, I'm just gonna see if like we have enough to level up our Columbina again, and if we fight a boss as well. I don't think we do. Oh, we do. We have just enough. And we need to fight some bosses. I can probably craft a bunch of these. We can craft 3, but at least make some of these as well. Honestly, let's end the video with like a little bit of a fight. 100%. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's like one of those situations where you're always talking to Calvin from the perspective of someone who like doesn't know as much maybe as you guys do about like lore and stuff like this too, or is not like ingrained in the community. So I'm always looking at it from the perspective of just the perspective of what I want to see. And that's kind of where I'm at now, to be honest.
Hey!
Ring cutter. Time to testify. Ready.
But I do have, I will say, I do have a mixture of fear and excitement. That's the way I'll put it. A mixture of fear and excitement for the upcoming regions and the upcoming stories. I don't know why I stopped doing that. That's actually like really ill-advised.
Witness the power of Google.
I summon.
Hunt them down.
So yeah, this boss is actually like a really easy boss to fight, it seems. To level up Columbina. I think we're gonna be fine.
I see everything.
Yeah. It's like, one of the things I dread so much about fighting any boss in these games, if I'm just being honest with you, is just like, I really, like, whenever a boss takes like 3 years to beat, it's like the least exciting thing in the world for me. And actually, like, it's not that it gets frustrating. I think it's more of a case of just like, I genuinely think this is like, if a boss takes too long to beat for me and has like multiple, like, the Rodeo of Leoch, for example, first time you fight them, incredible. One of the most incredible things that Genshin is like, has achieved, in my opinion, you know what I mean? And then like, after that, you know, every time you have to like try and level up for them or something, you have to deal with this like very like slow boss that like takes forever to fight, that you know, talks in between every single phase. It's on a set amount of time no matter what. Whereas with this boss, like, you guys can suggest the best team to fight them, and I can literally like get, you know, bust it out in like a few minutes even, you know. And that's what I love most about bosses like this as well. Like, even though I'm not doing great, I know that like we can get to a point where we could do great, you know what I mean? 100%. And it's not going to be a thing where like it's going to take forever. Yeah.
Will you be joining us? Then it's settled.
So, you might notice that my voice is a little bit softer now. That's because I'm recording this like very late at night as I'm editing. And I just saw that like a lot of the ending audio, because sometimes I stop the recording then start it, just so I can make sure I don't lose certain parts. But in this case, part of my audio for the outro, which is just like a 30-second outro, was like kind of like a bit crackly, and I think it was just like maybe like a wire was just like disconnected like a little bit. But yeah, I thought it wasn't a problem, but I guess it was a problem. So I guess I'm just gonna have to do the outro in more of a quiet Calvin mode. And all I was just gonna say is thank you guys so much for watching this. Thank you guys for sending your questions. Thank you guys for supporting Genshin all the time. It really does mean the absolute world to me that I get to still play Genshin with all of you and have such a good time. And also get to talk about Genshin in this fashion, even though like I know I'm not like the biggest like, you know, in-depth lore guy. I like to give my takes from what I feel about Genshin 2, I also think I just found out as well that there will be a special program. I'm not sure if it's this week or coming up or whatever. So we actually have more Genshin stuff on the horizon as well. I feel like we're jam-packed with Genshin, which, I'm not going to complain about it. Genshin's awesome. But yeah, thank you guys for sending your questions. Thank you guys for checking this out. It is like nearly 11 p.m. at night, which for some people isn't late, but like, it can be kind of late. So thank you guys so much for being so cool. Thank you guys for being the best audience in the universe, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And with that being said, my patrons are going to get a quiet Calvin outro now. Thank you to Tyfire2, Jamie Bull, Jana the Banana, The Ghost of Inazuma, Delicious Felix, Ewald, Anusta, The Assassin, True Peanut Butter, Peter Shelson, Liam, High Kasperian, Jared Beenham, Neil Sharite, and at the highest tier on my YouTube, Royal Gamer 7, Blasco, and Lucinagi. See you guys soon. Bye bye.